going on, Jerome's audio-only version, and start a new segment. Basically, you know the meme where it's like men don't even have to know each other's names. They can literally just stand around the circle and just name off random fantasy football players. Yes. Just want to lean into that. So this is, hey, remember that guy. Sort of an offshoot of, hey, that guy played well against us scouting. It's good to go, right? And I've talked about my favorite Vikings players of all time. And, of course, it's generation specific. And you look at Randy Moss, you look at Chris Carter, you look at Antoine Winfield Jr., look at John Randall, look at Jared Allen. Like, those are my guys, right? And love and respect Jim Marshall, rest in power, Carl Eller, Alan Page, Fran Tarkenton, before my time, right? But one of the players that, he's one of my favorites, but he was a player that really got me going into football, where Daunte Culpepper was my quarterback. And, I've talked about that. Randy Moss was my first player that I, quote unquote, scouted when he was coming out of Marshall. Like, Randy Moss was at Marshall for 2 years. One of these seasons, they were 1AA. Randy Moss was playing against 1AA cornerbacks. Just absolutely ridiculous video game stats. But, with Moss, I just remember scouting, quote unquote, him. And this is before the internet was a real thing. But the Sport Magazine and Sports Illustrated, and this is even before ESPN, the magazine, failed. But basically just like, I want Randy Moss. And eventually the Vikings got him. And Daunte was sort of in a similar vein. Right, so of course Daunte was the first round pick, number 11 overall in 1999, because after the fantastic 98 season, the Vikings were able to trade Brad Johnson, who's the original starting quarterback. They traded him to Washington for a first, second, and third, which is amazing. Again, head coach of Washington at the time, Norv. It's funny. He's like, who's going to be my Troy Aikman? Because he had been the OC of the Cowboys. You know who's going to be my Troy Aikman? Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson didn't win a Super Bowl, so maybe. But the Vikings had extended Randall Cunningham, but he was old at that time. And the Vikings, they wanted a quarterback of the future. So they got the roll on with Daunte, number 11 overall, which was Washington's pick in 1999. Their original pick, 29, Demetrius Underwood. Right. But Daunte, sat his first year. It was a mixture of Cunningham, and I think it was Jeff George starting the first year. And then he started year 2. Does this sound familiar at all? A quarterback drafted top 10 adjacent, sits his first year, and then starts his second season and comes out like gangbusters. Like his first season, the Vikings went 11-5. He threw for 3,937 yards, 33 touchdowns, as well as what's his quarterback rating? 98 quarterback rating, and made the Pro Bowl. And the Vikings got all the way to the NFC title game, except it was 41 down it. Ay, Chihuahua. Right? So that was his first season. And also, it's hard to acknowledge this, but Daunte only made the playoffs twice with the Vikings. And that's kind of frustrating, isn't it? So he made it his first season as a starter, 2000. And then in 2004, the Vikings went 8-8, and they backdoored into the playoffs. They beat the Packers at Lambeau, 31-17, and that was, of course, the famous Randy Moss game, and then allegedly lost in the division round to Philly, right? But Daunte, in his 6 years at the helm, only made the playoffs twice. Isn't that wild? It's kind of wild, right? But, of course, 2004 was his major season, and he should have been MVP. Like, love and respect to Peyton Manning. He should have been MVP at minimum. 4,717 passing yards, 39 touchdowns, 379 completions, also led the league, as well as a 110.9 quarterback rating, which is good, right? And Daunte getting his roll on that season, 2004, he also had, where is this? He also had 406 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Good. Like, Daunte was a freight train, man. And then 2005, I remember it was the Carolina game, and Chris Gamble, just put that shoulder pad on the knee. It was a clean play, just really bad luck, and Daunte shredded that knee, and that was all she wrote, right? But bringing it back, like, Daunte was a player I sort of scouted in 1998 because the 98 Vikings were getting the roll on, and I just remember SportsCenter and the magazines, they were talking about this quarterback from Central Florida. It's a school I never even heard of at the time. And he was a 6'4", 260-pound linebacker that was just wrecking fools, right? And he completed 73.6% of his passes his junior year in 1998 for Central Florida, who was independent at the time. 3,690 yards passing, 28 touchdowns. Also ran for 463 yards and 12 touchdowns. Finished sixth in the Heisman voting, and was just out here completely lambasting fools. Right. And, Central Florida, like, they played some of the big boys. Like, I remember seeing clips of Daunte versus Florida State. Now, obviously, the Knights were outmanned and outgunned, but Daunte fought the good fight. That's what he did, man. And I'm just thinking, I had never seen a quarterback that size before. 6'4", 260. And this is before Ben Roethlisberger. This was before Cam Newton. Like, you honestly just did not see dudes this size playing quarterback. Like, you would often see players like this playing tight end or defensive end or whatever. But Daunte captured the mind. And now I understand that he got this bad rap about fumbling all the time because small hand smells like cabbage. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm looking up now. Okay, actually, no, this makes sense. So he led so I just looked up the numbers. He led the league in fumbles twice. 23 in 2002 and 16 in 2003. So I take it all back. Everything was justified. But the way that he would just chuck the ball downfield to Randy Moss was honestly just a thing of beauty. Like, Daunte to Randy was glorious. Plus, them having conversations on the sideline, and Randy Moss in his West Virginia twang, Daunte Culpepper, and is just like talk about like throw it up. It's like Madden. That's basically what it was, right? And were the teams good during those times? I mean, kind of. I mean, yeah, Denny Green had gotten fired. Mike Tice was in. And Mike Tice was, of course, the players' coach. Frankly, one of the best offensive line coaches in the game. Came up with a Randy ratio and all that stuff. But Randy put up some huge numbers during those 3 years with Daunte. First season in 2000, 5 seasons with Daunte, 1,437 yards, 15 touchdowns. And the apex was 2003, 1,632 yards, 17 touchdowns. Just chuck it up, right? And that was the problem. Like, finding a quarterback with the arm to be able to get it out there and also be able to overthrow Randy Moss sometimes. I mean, that's what Daunte did. Just number 11 back there, looking like DeMarcus Ware, looking like a true blue defensive end. All of a sudden, just chucking it. Small hands, launching that thing like a trebuchet, and then Randy Moss coming down with a touchdown over double or triple coverage. Woo! Vikings, get your roll on. I mean, we're still gonna finish like 8-8 at best, maybe 7-7, maybe 6-10, but we're gonna be exciting doing it, and that's exactly what it was. And then, of course, the whole Love Boat fiasco. I mean, it just sort of ended it. And then, Daunte, after he wrecked his knee. So 2006 was an interesting year because stupid-ass Sean Payton had just gotten the Saints job. Nick Saban was actually head coach of the Dolphins, right? And Saban actually had a solid first season in Miami before, I guess I'm just going to have to come out and say it. I'm not going to be the head coach at Alabama. Lies. So this is from Saban's book. He had a choice between trading for Daunte Culpepper, coming off that knee, or signing Drew Brees as a free agent after the shoulder, like labrum issues. Now, the Miami medical doctor made the decision that, hey, Brees is too much of a risk, and there's a chance that he might not be the same type of player that he ever was, right? But, I mean, that decision maybe cost Nick Saban his NFL career, because if Saban had gotten Brees and that offense had gotten rolling and he was able to get his defense together, Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, Channing Crowder, etc., I mean, Saban might have been in the NFL for 10, 12 years with Drew Brees. And, oh, by the way, Drew Brees skates on Bounty Gate stuff. Like, he knew. Anyways, but Brees had just coming off the start of his career in San Diego with the Chargers, but they had drafted Phillip Rivers, and then there was a big power struggle with A.J. Smith, the GM at the time. That's one of the reasons why Eli Manning pulled the Eli. because Archie and the Mannings did not see eye to eye with AJ Smith. It's kind of weird. But then Daunte ended up with Miami, started for 4 games, and he just wasn't the same. The knee wasn't ready to go. Didn't have a good attitude. Eventually, he got benched for Joey Harrington. He and Saban had some words, allegedly. Yeah. And then he ended up at Oakland in 2007. And unfortunately, Daunte didn't deserve this, man. He ended up on Detroit in 2008, part of the 0-16 team. Actually, Detroit deserves every single part of it. Like, for a long time, I felt really bad for Lions fans. They had wasted Barry Sanders. They had wasted Megatron. They had wasted Matthew Stafford, who won a Super Bowl immediately after leaving Detroit, thanks to Kevin O'Connell. And also just like Matt Millen and Marty Morningwig, and just like 0-16, and it was just a mess all over the place, right? But Daunte didn't deserve that. He started 5 of those games in that 0-16 season. Just not good. Also, it's kind of fun. Look it up. The 2008 Lions, their 2 closest games against the Vikings, of course. But overall, like, glad to see Daunte come around. He was at the facility during OTAs. I'm sure they'll have him back to sound the Gallahorn or something like that. But because, I mean, Daunte, even though it did end great, unfortunately with that injury, like, I wonder what would have happened, because Daunte was only 28 when he had that horrible knee injury that basically altered his career. Like, you do wonder, like, okay, he wasn't the most accurate quarterback ever, but big time arm, mobility, could just run over dudes. Like, would that have scaled getting into 30s, getting into the mid 30s, late 30s? Like, would he have been a quarterback who'd been able to play into his 40s? Right? But we'll never know, because that knee, it just completely wrecked things. Right? And it sucked because it was 1 year after his breakout 2004 should have been MVP season. But Daunte, for me, always be special. I want to get me a Daunte Culpepper jersey. Like, I'm trying to find one of those Mitchell and Ness ones, with the Sodan numbers. Maybe get it cheaper from China. Don't know. But I always get my roll on. 11. Let's go. 1-1. Let's go, baby. Anyways, that's it. Hey, remember that guy? Daunte Culpepper? Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best to do. Skull production value.